Welcome along to Adrian J Online. This episode is going to be on my BMW 2 Series, and we're going to be testing. I'm going to show you how to test the battery, alternator, and generally the charging systems. Don't go away. Hey guys, wobble wobble wobble. This is yours truly, Big J. So I've been seeing a lot of videos, I've been seeing a lot of questions and posts on a lot of the forums where people are having issues with their BMWs, the older ones. They're testing the batteries, they're having issues, electrical issues, all kind of good stuff. Now, I've got a couple of videos which you guys may know are all about how I had issues with my 2 Series with how to check the batteries and everything else, but I want to condense it down a little bit and actually get a bit of a better video so I can post online for people. So this video is mainly about the newer BMWs, so late 2000s, 2010s, that kind of thing. Before 2000s, I think, and someone may correct me if I'm wrong, procedures are slightly different. Now, I remember a friend of mine telling me once, a long time ago, when I had a Porsche 944, and we used to ask questions about this, that, and the other. And I've done a lot of work on different cars, like Fords, Vauxhalls, or a whole gamut of cars, and old cars, 80s, 70s, and 90s cars. And this guy said, when I answered a question, he said, you have to forget about other cars, you have to do it the Porsche way. And he was true. He was correct. The way you work on Porsches, or some Porsches, is different. The mechanics of a car is a car. You have 4 wheels, 4 tires, brakes, all that kind of stuff. But there are some nuances, which is why we like taking cars to a dealer, right? So the same thing with BMWs. If you attempt to work on a BMW and you don't know what you're doing, you are going to be in a world of hurt. I'm telling you. If you know a little bit of knowledge, there's another saying, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. Same thing with a BMW. Trust me, BMWs and newer BMWs are a whole different kettle of fish. Sure, you put gasoline in them and you have to put oil in them and you have to pump the tyres up. And that's where the similarity ends. You have to learn how to do things the BMW way. You need to get some specific test gear if you really want to. If you're only just checking fluids, you're okay. If you want to do anything else, you really need to have the right manuals. You can't go into a shop and get the manuals, okay? So look up, number one, you need a tool called ISTA, I-S-T-A. Look it up on YouTube. You must get it. It's a diagnostic tool. You need a computer. You need a lead to connect to the car. It's the only way, I promise you, it's the only way to really diagnose, pull codes, and even diagnose and look up procedures and a whole kind of stuff. You must have ISTA. You can get away with an OBD2 tester, but only just, okay? You need to get onto a website called New TIS, which shows you procedures online, and you also need to go onto a site called Real OEM. I'll try and put these links all as I'm talking, and that gives you the parts. Get to know your parts guys, and they're usually quite good on getting things. If you do not have any of those information, you're going to be stuffed. Also, make sure you go onto and get signed up with a couple of BMW forums. Bimmerfest is one I'm on. One Addicts is another one. They do a full range, and I think there's a third one, I can't remember, but certainly those two spring to mind. Get on, ask questions, because people know the nuances, they know what's happening in the car. Me, even, as a seasoned guy, 30, 40 years wrenching, I have come unstuck at times. So if I can, then you novices can. But do not be scared of working on BMWs. It honestly, once you know what you're doing, you're okay. You need the proper tools as well. Don't have at it with a screwdriver thinking that'll do it. It won't. Have the proper tools. Get everything right and you're good. Now, sorry about that backstory and backfill. The reason I said about this with BMWs, look at my previous videos on how batteries work and this, that and the other, because you will need to know that. But if you have a problem, and this is what I'm going to show you now today, if you have a problem with your electrical system or your car's doing weird things which may be down to the electrics, you need to test the battery and electrics right. Now there's a lot of YouTube videos online how to check for parasitic load, check the battery is good, the alternator is good. They will work on 90% of cars, okay, and about 40% of BMWs. Right? If you've got a newer BMW, those things aren't going to work. You can't check for parasitic draw on a BMW. Trust me, you're going to get messed up. Well, not the conventional way. There are ways to test it. You can check for close current violations, I think it is the term. It's where you can check whether the current from the BMW is more than 80 milliamps and whether the car's doing various bits and pieces, again with ISTA. If you don't have ISTA, you're screwed. Okay, so I'll tell you now what you need to get, and you can do this over and over again. You have to get this piece of test kit which we're going to show you in the car. It's called the Solar BA9, S-O-L-A-R, BA9. It's about $40 plus tax. It is the best investment I ever made. Okay, that will tell you everything you need to know about your car battery, whether it's holding the charge, whether it's healthy, whether whatever is happening, it will tell you. But there is a specific way you need to go about this on BMWs. Okay, what I'm going to show you today is how to check your battery. If you're not sure, right, if you don't do it this way, there's a 50-50 chance you're going to come unstuck. Okay, so BMWs, right, especially new BMWs, are full of computers. That it's a rolling computer, right? So basically, what happens is the car has a function called going to sleep, and you may have seen it on my 1 Series. So what happens when you let's say you come in after a day, you stop the car, you lock the car, you go in. It takes approximately 20 minutes for what's known as the car to fall asleep. Okay, so what happens is the battery keeps certain components alive for the duration, and then it goes into sleep mode, and then what happens, it then brings that current down. So in sleep mode you shouldn't be drawing more than 80 milliamps on a BMW. May change, maybe different models, but basically according to this video, yes, hold this is true, 80 milliamps. What happens when you go to the car, you press the button, start the car, it doesn't come up from cold, essentially it's coming up from a warm start. That may help you understand that a bit better. You get in your car and you start, you drive around. So what happens is, every time you stop your car and start your car, it's not, you've got a half an hour period of where the battery is drawing, is not, where the car is alive and not everything is falling asleep. Okay, so if you do short, sharp journeys, okay, constantly driving, and especially in cold weather with lights, heat and stuff, you're drawing more power than you need to. So shuffling the car on and off the drive, it can be bad. Going up the road for a quick something or other is not good. After the car's fallen asleep, that's fine. That's why also every now and again, if you're doing a lot of short stop starts, the battery will run down if you're doing it that way. Okay, so knowing that, what I've done now is the best way and the correct way to test your battery, on your BMW, etc., is to let the car go to sleep, because this is what will happen, and this was what was messing me up. Bring the car home, bump the bonnet, put my meter across the leads, across the battery, and it's giving me weird results. It's giving me low results. Then after half an hour, it was coming up, because what happens is you need to let the car go to sleep. Do not do any testing on your car until the car has gone to sleep. So this is what I've done to save a little bit of time. I went out and I did a bit of stuff this morning. I came and I parked the car up. Now, what you want to do, number one, is a stop alarm lock the car. Okay, that is going to leave it for about 20 minutes. The car will be asleep, but we're going to test the battery. So what I did was, step 2 was I opened the boot, okay, with the alarm locked, because I can open the boot, and you've got the interior light. The interior light comes on. Now, the car, when it goes into sleep, when it finishes and it's asleep, that interior light goes off. That means the car is in sleep mode. I can do my testing. Okay, so just to recap, of course this doesn't matter. Actually, this even matters if you're going to do work on the car in the morning. Open the trunk and let it go to sleep. Essentially, that's what we want to do. Okay, so to recap, I came home, alarmed the car, locked the car up and everything, opened the trunk, and now I've left the car for about 20 minutes. We'll go down and we'll see that the interior lights are off, the trunk light is off, means it's in sleep mode. Now I can do diagnostics. And what I'm going to show you when we go downstairs, outside, it's a bit cold still, so I'm trying to explain a little bit here. One, we're going to check the battery voltage. Okay, this is an AGM battery, so it should be 12.9-ish. Okay, we're going to check what's called the SOH, which is a state of health. That's how healthy, how good the battery is. Up to 100%, usually should be 100 in the hundreds. Shouldn't be anything less than 80. We're going to check the state of charge, right? Which will be how good the charge is on the battery. Okay, again, up to 100%. We are then going to check what's called the cold cranking amps. And if you look on the battery, it will have, say, 850 or 1000, or mine it says 850. If your battery is in good health, it should give you 850 or more. Maybe a little bit less, but within the range. And it will tell you good, bad, or whatever. Okay, that's immediately checked your battery. It's the only way on a BMW. Okay, the new series. I thought you'd do it any other way with meters and other stuff. You're going to come unstuck. Trust me, I know this. Then what we can do is we can do a cranking test. This is really important, right? So when you set it to cranking, you go, you start the car up. What will happen is the BA9 will register what the lowest voltage is on cranking. Now, again, it should be a low value, lower than battery, but it shouldn't be, say, 10 or 9 or 8. I think 10 is minimum. Depends on your car, but you will get a cranking voltage. Then when you go to the next step, it will tell you what the alternator is, what the alternator voltage is putting out. Okay, and again, that should be 13.5, 14 volts. It shouldn't be too high, it shouldn't be too low. Okay, then when you hit the next button, it goes on what they call ripple, and the ripple is you've got a sine wave. You don't want a lot of ups and downs in your voltages. I'm giving you really an easy explanation, right? You'll give you ups and downs, and you want as little ripple as possible to avoid damage and things. And that's what we're going to test today, and I'm going to show you. And I promise you, if you have issues with your battery, you're not sure, this is the one sure way to find out. This will test the battery, whether it's healthy, whether it's fully charged, whether the alternator's working, whether the alternator's charging. And you are halfway there on diagnosing a fault. Okay, so I'm going to put my coat on. We're going to go downstairs now. Hopefully it's not too cold. We're going to check it out. And also bonus, what we're going to try and do is I'm going to put a little bit of a battery charge on there and see if I can get my ISTA up running, because I want to check for codes on there as well. So maybe we get a 2 for out of this. Okay, so let's go downstairs. The light is off. So what we're going to do is get this out of the way. And we're going to check the battery. Oops. I'm just going to get set up and I'm going to show you. So I don't know how much of this you can see, but this is the solar BA9. We're going to click onto the battery. The battery voltage is 12.77 volts. This is the only way to test it. Right, now if we hit enter, we've set it to AGMF, which is flat AGM. The CCA is 850, right? The 850, I've already set that in, and you can tell that from there. It's 850, so that means that's good. Now if we go again, it's going to test the battery. The battery voltage is 12.77 volts, a teeniest bit low, should be 12.9, but I've been driving it. 857 cold cranking amps, which is fantastic. Hit it again. Oops. Sorry, let me do this again. I always get mixed up with these buttons. Testing. Do the down arrow. Right, now it's checked the state of charge. 97%, okay? That's a wee bit, last time it was 100, and I've been doing a lot of short stops, so that's probably why. But this is also important, 3.02 ohms. I don't know if this is milliohms or mega ohms, it's probably milliohms, it says a small m. That's the resistance of the plate. If this this value is high, that means that the battery is screwed. It means that the plates are knackered. Now if we go down again, state of health, 98%. That means the health of the battery is good. Now we're going to do cranking. Now so what we're going to do is check the cranking for the battery, and if we hit enter, can you see the key? Now I have to go and start the car. I'm not sure why it didn't show. So on cranking it showed the lowest voltage, which is 11.36, which is good. Now if we hit enter again, that is the alternator voltage, 13.89 volts. So the alternator is started working right. Now if I had someone who would hold it for me, because my stand isn't really getting this, you'll see if I rev the engine what this should show. But that's good as it is. We're going to hit enter again. This is the ripple. Now I actually don't know what the proper ripple should be, but they should be as low as possible. But I think 0.06 volts is okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, moms and dad, means that this car, the battery is fine, state of charge is fine, it's healthy, alternator is fine, everything is good on this. This is the only way to test your BMW system. I'm going to get a little oh, and you've got points at the front. Don't use this on the front because this will give you an inaccurate reading. It has to go directly across the battery. So what I'm going to do is going to put a little bit of a charge on there, and I'm going to come back out and check my history. It's a little bit cold. I think around about lunchtime it's going to be a bit warmer. So maybe come back and we'll maybe do a two-part.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe right now. Hit it in the face. And leave a comment down below.
Click here.